Son shit, y'all ready?
I hope y'all are. This episode, this ain't a history moment right here. We gonna talk about Wakanda Forever. Let me tell y'all something real quick too. I saw Wakanda Forever. Theater was packed. Got sick the following Monday. Been sick since then. I was like, yo, think they got me out there. They got me. I wasn't prepared. I'm up here trying to enjoy life with everybody else. Got sick. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But Wakanda Forever. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Wakanda Forever makes my top 5 MCU movies of all time. You know what I mean? It knocks some joint. It knocks something out the side. It makes my top 5 of all time. My top 5 of all time. Wakanda Forever. No real order. Wakanda Forever, because I'm talking about that. Wakanda Forever is 1. The first Iron Man is 2. Infinity Wars is 3. Winter Soldier is 4. Now, I'ma say Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Just because that was a deep movie. That was a deep movie. Like, past all the highs, it was definitely about family. And it was dope. Now, if you're thinking about my top 5, one thing that you noticed, all that goofy, funny stuff ain't really there. There's nothing funny about The Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier actually is my number 1 movie. Forget what you're talking about. Winter Soldier is that joint. You know what I mean? The first Iron Man, because it was just so dope and different. Like I said with the Guardians of the Galaxy, so that's that. Infinity War. Just, even the funny parts of it isn't outright funny. It's just, that was a very deep movie. Very dope movie. And Wakanda Forever. Crazy. Now, let me tell y'all something about Wakanda Forever. Spoilers. Yeah. In effect. Let me tell y'all something about this. So, if you know the movie, it was dead silence. It was dead silence. This movie, like, it was so quiet those first scenes before the intro. And even with the intro. And there's nothing in cinematic history that is that dope. And I say that because the movie got to honor the loss of the person. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time it's just stuff like there's a picture of somebody. You know what I'm saying? Or there's a reference. You know, nah. We got to honor the death of Chadwick Boseman. And do that, like, it wasn't even a Black Panther moment. That was him. When you saw, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't get to do that in Hollywood. It seems to be a thing where they don't do that. You know what I mean? And they did it. And it was beautiful. And it took people a minute to laugh because there were some jokes here and there, and people just, it took them a while because they understood. 1, this was a deep movie. 2, we're still trying to process this, and you're watching these actors and actresses process it, and it's like, yo, this, I don't, and my audience, when I went, it was a lot of white people. I say it like that because it was. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't one of these blacked out moments. No. It was a lot of white people. There was some Spanish people peppered through here. There was some black people peppered through here. And people of color understood this movie was so deep. And I ain't gonna say white people didn't, but I can tell because you don't live it. White people had no idea what they were watching. You know what I'm saying? I think my man who directed this pulled the fast one on Marvel, because they might not have understood what they were watching. There's no the bad guy of this movie is the fear. The bad guy in this movie is yet to be shown. It wasn't Neymar. You know what I'm saying? The bad guy of the movie was the beginning of when they were talking to the UN, and that part when they was like, yo, and they showed the people trying to run up on them for the vibranium. That's the villain. That's the villain of the movie. That's the villain of this movie. That echoes throughout the whole thing. And on a psychological, real life joint, that's the movie. That's the villain that rained on the Mayans. That's the villain that rained on the Africans. That's the villain that rained on the Native Americans. The prospect and fear of what you have and what you would do with it if you really wanted to do something. We need to invade, impede, and conquer and take over whatever it is that you have and make it our own. That was, you know what I'm saying? This movie is so deep. Angela Bassett deserves an award. Best supporting, and if not the award, at least the nod. Best supporting actress. This movie is crazy, and I'm like I said, even though I'm giving you, I'm saying spoilers, there's really nothing to be spoiled. They went out here. Neymar was like, yo, they come into my spot. I don't know what's going on. And his whole vibe was, yo, I'm gonna have to get the person who built that. Cause stopping the machine ain't gonna do it. I gotta get that person out the way. Cause apparently everybody doesn't know how to do this. So y'all hand it over and all is gonna be well. And it goes down. We get to meet Ironheart. Shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's the vibe is there. And the jokes are there. The fighting is there. You know what I mean? Like all the action everybody wants to see is cool. It's cool. It's pop, pop, pop. But the depth is there. The fact that when he brings old girl to his world and she sees it, she understands. Like, yo, I can't let them mess this up. This is beautiful. This is wild. She understands, like, you're in the same situation that we are in. You're in the same situation we were in. You know what I'm saying? Where your world is so not part of the bigger picture. This is your quaint. This is your solitude. We can't. Don't want. And she really didn't want to go. She was peaceful. It was a peaceful situation. You know what I mean? Then the war comes. And let me keep it real with y'all, man. Neymar's a beast. His people's a beast. They destroyed Wakanda. Like, that wasn't even a joint, man. It was, yo. You know what I mean? Like, if you look back at it and you think about it that way, the Wakandans lost. They lost. She might have, like, you know what I'm saying? Black Panther might have beat Namor, but as far as his people versus the Wakandans, wasn't even a, you know what I mean? It wasn't even a match. It wasn't. This movie is just a dope symbolization for people of color. And it's a great movie. It's great. I mean, I'm now hearing a lot of the whole hating on all the females and the wokeness, which, by the way, I didn't think would exist, but apparently it does. It is what it is. But you can't overlook the fact that this movie is good. This movie, and it's not gonna, like, I think by next month it's gonna start to make people go, oh, this movie really wasn't a comic book movie, because it wasn't. Like, you take these away, and this is a historical moment of how history just continues to play itself out. how people of color always have to worry about their stuff being taken, their resources being drained, and them being left. You know what I mean? Like, that's really what this story is. Don't let anybody tell you different. If you watch the movie and you really watch, this movie is that. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the other stuff around it is decorative. You know what I mean? Like, it's MCU for the sake of MCU, and that's what's going to make Wakanda Forever actually rock, because the plot is a real plot. The thought about what's going on is really different. You see what the Mayans went through trying to avoid what was going on with the Spaniards coming through, and we already know about Black history. We already know about Native American history. So to see that they threw all this together, that the overarching theme is they will come and take over and destroy. And he's like, nah, I refuse to let that happen to my people. Please, what do we need to do to work together so this doesn't happen to my people? I see y'all are okay with them rocking with y'all. That's cool. I ain't got nothing to do with them. I don't want anything to do with them. Help me protect my people. Gangster. Gangster. This is just, it's what you don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Angela Bassett. Like, first of all, her dying was wild. Let's keep it real. I wasn't prepared for that. So it was like, yo, oh snap. What are we doing? The fact that, going back to Chadwick Boseman's character, the fact that T'Challa died, and reasoning is because Killmonger burnt all the stuff, so there wasn't anything to save him. Beautiful understanding your history of your characters and the landscape and all that. And then she goes, hey, well, this right here that he gave me still has pieces of that. Maybe I can replica something and get that and be that and go out here and be that Black Panther. Gangster, man. This is, like I said, is a beautiful show. It was deeper than it should have been, because when you think MCU, they love, the perception is it's very popcorn. This proves the fact that it's not. This was the grown-up moment. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a lot of them. So when you see them, you gotta go, yo, this was a grown-up moment. You know what I mean? Spider-Man No Way Home had grown-up moments. There's points where this is what it needs to be to understand. You know what I mean? Like, comic book movies about to make that switch. And for me, sometimes I like to say, Disney isn't really ready to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot where the people, and I also want to say this too before I go. When people say this whole thing about they're tired of the woke moment or the MCU, what they mean is people of color. Don't get it twisted. It's not about the women. It's about the people of color. Shang-Chi is the only one that they're like, oh, I like that, you know. Why? That was a dude. Had Shang-Chi been a female, Shang-Chi would have fell into the same boat. You know what I mean? At some point it stops becoming about the women. Ms. Marvel, Pakistanis. You know what I'm saying? This whole thing right here, we're talking Hispanics, Mayans, Black people. You know what I'm saying? Now, the She-Hulk, maybe I could see that. Maybe. And that's a big maybe. But when these people are hating, and you realize that they're hating on a lot of this stuff, you realize that it's a lot of people of color. I didn't like old girl, didn't like America Chavez in the Doctor Strange joint. Person of color. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's starting to roll. And the thing is, these aren't made up characters for the fun of diversity. These are actual characters. These are actual characters who've been around for a minute. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, these are characters who are now getting their shine. And yeah, don't get it twisted. Yeah, there's some people that I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's a lot of white people that deserve their shine a little before this. But yo, you go with what you know. Keep it popping. You know what I mean? Like, it's nobody's forcing an agenda. It's a point of it's all gonna be progressive. Y'all, look, I'm a halfway geek when it comes to all this backstory stuff. But there was a time Andrew Garfield, salute to Andrew Garfield, wanted Miles Morales to be the Spider-Man. He was like, it would be cool that his third Spider-Man would be the lead into Miles Morales taking over. Sony was like, nah, no, that ain't a thing. We will never do nothing like that. They did it anyway with the animated joint, and it ended up blowing up, and it is what it is. But Sony was adamant about going, nah, we not doing it. Don't believe me? Look it up. Sony didn't want nothing to do with that. They was like, Andrew Garfield was ahead of the game. Natalie Portman, ahead of the game. She wanted to be Thor, because the comic book joint was already circulating at this time with the female Thor. Already ahead of the game. Nah, we ain't doing that. We can't do that. So again, for the people who were out here, and by the way, yeah, Thor was a joint they hated on too, because it's a female Thor. But these are not joints that people are just trying to make happen. These are things that are actually in the process in these comic books, and people are like, yo, let's do that. Let's try to get that out there, because there's so much more to it. You open the door for so much as soon as you get it in like that. Why not expand and make all your characters pop at the same time? You know what I mean? Like, why would you like focus, keep your window so narrow? I don't understand that. But again, that's the geeks, that's Marvel, that's DC, that's all that. But the door is wide open. Diversity is all through the comic books. You know what I'm saying? So when people, like, I think with the Superman, we don't need no black Superman. That black Superman that they're talking about actually was holding it down for DC for a minute. I said that before, and I'm saying it again. Why not capitalize on that? You come up with the right story, boom. And DC, more than Marvel, has a good chance of just going, yo, we're letting all of this stuff happen at the same time without even having to be part of the universe. We can do that because that's what they've been doing. Batman, you know what I'm saying? Batman joint don't look nothing like the Joker. Those are two different things that are not part of the DCU, where Black Adam tied a lot of stuff together. Those joints are out there by themselves, chilling. You can do that. You know what I mean? Marvel doesn't seem to be in that same lane. DC has a chance to do it that way. It is what it is, man. Why not go out here and make everything happen and just rock with it and see how it rolls? You have a show. You have a network. These Disney Plus shows, they're okay. And I think a lot of that is Disney has a format. Marvel has a format. And I think they're so caught up in not trying to change it. Even when people are like, oh yeah, Moon Knight really didn't. You know what I mean? It really didn't. It found a creative way to still be Marvel. The big challenge is when Daredevil and all of that stuff from the Netflix days start shooting, and then you're like, let's see how this really plays out. Is Marvel and Disney really ready to step that game up? Who knows? Man, but anyway, back to this Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Joint is official. It's dope. If you know me, you know I was on the first Black Panther. And it wasn't because it was bad. It was just, I felt like it felt rushed. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those things they were trying to be like, yo, we got a black comic character out there. Boom, what they got? You know what I'm saying? And for those who do know about that phase of Marvel, understand the thought of what DC was doing was so groundbreaking that it forced Marvel's hand. Marvel just executed it better. For those, I mean, I don't know if y'all know, but the Captain America Civil War thing, all of that came about because DC had put their plan out where it was like, yo, we're gonna have this Batman versus Superman, we're gonna do the Wonder Woman, we're gonna do the Justice League. The Justice League movie's gonna have 2 pieces to it. It's gonna be a part 1 and a part 2, and then we're gonna do all this other crazy stuff after that. Marvel instantly went, yo, we're gonna have Tony co-star in this Captain America thing. That was their combating the Batman versus Superman. That was gonna be Iron Man and Captain America. Batman versus Superman gonna have Wonder Woman be the third piece, and who's gonna end up with her solo movie? Hey, they gonna give the world Black Panther, and they're working on trying to get Spider-Man in it. Wink, wink. Black Panther's gonna come up with a movie afterwards. See the similarities? Y'all see it, right? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Justice League's gonna have 2 movies. One's gonna drop, and then the next year, the next one's gonna drop. Boom. Marvel goes, I don't know if we're gonna do that, but we might do that. Then they go, yeah, we're gonna do that. Again, DC, with all the stuff that they had going on, Zack Snyder's daughter and all this and all that, it never rocked the way it was supposed to. And I think Warner Brothers was losing interest in a lot of that stuff anyway, because they wanted to match Marvel, which was the biggest mistake ever anyway, because that's the whole point. Even in the comic books, they're 2 different companies. That's what makes them lovable. You know what I'm saying? You want this kind of content from them, you want that kind of content from them. Boom, boom. Marvel executes the plan far better than anyone ever expected and locks it down. Fast forward a little later, HBO Max gives the world Justice League the way Zack Snyder wanted it, and it just becomes this thing, and it makes you go, yo, you could have a world where these are 2 competing companies and they don't need to look alike. You know what I'm saying? We don't need our Justice League to look something like a Marvel movie. It can be dark, it could be grim, it could be cold, as long as it has an idea of where it's going. Comic book world is just, you know what I mean? And and to be honest, Marvel has critiques. Marvel has naysayers. And one of those things is, as it's getting bigger and it's becoming more known and it's grabbing more and more comic book properties, it's dumbing itself down and it's watering itself down, and it's becoming nothing more than, hey, here's a bunch of fun jokes and comedy and da-da-da-da-da. And the people who want those more mature stories are coming away upset about it. You know what I'm saying? Thor's movie wasn't good, not because it was a bad story. It was good because you never got to see the villain be the villain. You know what I mean? If you know how that story goes, they couldn't stop Thor. I mean, they couldn't stop my man. He was a god killer, and they never stopped him. You're watering down the stories and everything for more children. Those children who were watching you over 10 years ago are now older. Gotta give them something. You can't keep going, yo, and then we gotta make sure that these new batch of kids, you're taking great storylines and you're butchering them. Come on, man. Let's do what we do. Again, Wakanda forever. snuck in. They snuck that in under the radar. That right there, it's going to go down as one of the best Marvel movies in the last couple of years. For no other reason than it doesn't look like a Marvel movie. It doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like one. It doesn't feel like one. The vibe is just different. And that's what you need at this point. You know what I mean? So, yo, salute to everybody who had a hand in Wakanda Forever. With that being said, that's all I gotta say, man. I loved it. It was dope. We'll holler at y'all next week. And as I do before I leave, I want to say, before I go, thanks for the support. East Coast, West Coast, worldwide, Lost Boys, it's always dope seeing all the support all over the place. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. You know what I mean? So, now I'm about to hit the bricks and get back into what we do. If you haven't seen the movie, please go check the movie out. With that being said, let's do it like this. They say you only live once. That's a lie. You only die once. So anytime that your God allows you to go out here and continue your journey, please show the world the best version of you. Y'all be safe. Peace.
This is a Soul of Art presentation.